Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is your guy Keenan Lambert, and in this video, I'm going to talk about an interesting experience that I had years ago. Have you guys ever had somebody that you trusted, grew to love, but then they ended up drugging you? I'll tell you my story. So, before the pandemic, I was somebody who religiously went to Caribbean Carnival here in Toronto. Here it's referred to as Caribana. It is a beautiful festival. I don't know, maybe 500,000 people or more coming out to celebrate Caribbean culture. You have men, women, and individuals in between enjoying themselves, dancing on the lake shore, being intimate with each other and just having an amazing time. So for me, over the years, it became a pilgrimage of sorts to come here year after year after year. And in between those annual festivals, I was coming up here because I really enjoyed Toronto and had my several love interests over the years in this beautiful city. And during that time, I grew really close with an Airbnb host who I would use every now and again. Now, Christina was a super cool white chick. Now I'm changing her name, right? But we'll call her Christina here. Super duper cool white chick. Used to live in the Caribbean, understood the whole vibe of Caribana. Now, I had been in a situation where I was looking feverishly for an Airbnb host who would accept me. And at that time, Airbnb hosts, they'd be a little bit discriminatory. And, I explained, hey, I'm coming up. And she's like, yo, you come from Caribana? I'm like, yeah. She's like, yo, come to my spot. Okay, so, I would rent out the apartment every now and again, year after year after year, and also in between. Now, it was a pleasurable experience. She became like a sister to me. Now, she's actually kind of cute, but it was more of a sisterly vibe, if you know what I'm saying. So the final year of regular carnival, we did the whole experience. We had a blast. We went back to her space. Now, the next day after the carnival, right, she came back. She usually spends it at her cottage. She came back. We went to actually eat brunch on the lakeshore with another dude that we know, somebody who's close to her, and also had rented space from her before as well, right? I think they actually dated for a little bit. Now, we were having a great time. We're having licks, just in a great space. So we go back to her place and we end up packing up our stuff, getting ready to leave. Okay, and we're in a super nice, jolly place, right? Because we've been having the mimosas flowing, the mimosas, the bellinis, etc. So she offers us this cracker. Okay, now she's putting oil on it. Okay, so I didn't think anything of it, right? It was me and two of my brethren, right? So I took it, not even thinking anything of it, right? My bro, okay, you've seen him on this channel before. Right, he takes one, and then the other guy says, no, I'm good, right? So we actually had different bus times. For whatever reason, we ended up booking it in a disjointed manner. It, at that time, was maybe like an 11 or 12-hour push back to New York City from Toronto because of all the stops and in between and so forth. So I end up going off first, and when I get to the bus station, I start feeling just awesome. Okay, just like a feeling of airiness washing over me. I remember there was a girl in front of me, beautiful girl, maybe a little bit lighter than me or my skin tone. She turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Right, and then she's smiling at me, I'm smiling back at her. Just a feeling of awesomeness. Okay, that's what the situation looked like from my lens, okay? Who knows what it looked like from her lens? So I end up showing my ticket, getting on the bus. While I'm riding back on the bus, we, instead of going directly to Buffalo, like how they do sometimes, we're making all of those little stops in between when going around the Golden Horseshoe, as they call it. Okay, whipping around to get into get into Buffalo. Now, during that time, I start getting these text messages from my boys. Okay, Keenan, how do you feel? Keenan, are you okay? And I'm thinking, I feel awesome. Like, what's going on here? Well, my boy was having a crazy experience. Okay, the other one that took it. Now, he's a little bit smaller of a guy than I am. And what was happening to him was he was starting to hallucinate. He was starting to see things that weren't there. He was walking in Young Circle, and he said that it immediately transformed into Times Square, right? And what he did was he looked at our other friend's hand, extremely dark-skinned guy, looked at his hand, that way he could focus on something, right? They went out for drinks. Okay, so my boy, the other guy, my other boy, his brother actually joined, and then Christina and the other guy that she had a fling with back in the day, that she was cool with at this point, that we're all cool with. Okay, so they were in a bar drinking, and my boy has like this feeling wash over him, paranoia, like they're trying to kidnap him. And, they're using this experience to lull him to sleep, to go ahead and take him, right? So he curses them out, runs out of the bar, and then my other boy and his brother went to run after him, okay? Now, I didn't get that part of the story yet. That's just sort of the backstory. But I started getting all of these text messages and questions while I'm on the bus feeling nice. Now, my bus was about an hour and a half or 2 hours ahead of their bus, okay? So I'm there on the bus and I'm just feeling nice and awesome. But then, I don't know if I saw it, if I was imagining it, I don't know what. But I saw these colors, like red, green, blue, those main colors, just appear right here. In a soft sense, not a hard thing, right? Just in a soft sense. The rainbow was upon me. And I was thinking, oh wow, what is going on here? At this point, I didn't connect it back to that cracker. Okay, so we go ahead and we take the push down to Peace Bridge. That's where you cross the border into the United States. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not right here. I'm feeling crazy, right? And so I made sure that I was last, okay, getting out of the bus. That way I could get time to get myself right, okay? So there were only two agents. I remember there was only two agents who were taking people. It was one guy that was super, super serious and another guy that was lax, okay? During that time, however, I noticed that I was slipping in and out of consciousness. I was here and then I wasn't here. And then I'd move up a few feet and then I was back again. And I'm thinking, oh crap, this is not good. So then that's when the paranoia starts hitting in for me. I'm thinking, oh my God, they're gonna take me. They're definitely gonna take me. So then I ended up pulling up to the agent, not the nice one, the agent that was sort of stern, that was thorough, right? And he asked me, hey, how did you enjoy your time? I said, oh, Toronto was great. And I slipped out of consciousness and I came back. And he goes, Keenan, are you feeling okay? I said, oh, yeah, I'm feeling okay. And then I see him look at me and then he starts breaking into these questions. Where were you born? Okay, so I tell him the hospital. I tell him the address, or not the address, but the cross streets of the hospital. He asked me, what time were you born? What day? I had that off rip because my mom made sure that I knew that information. I was a C-section baby, probably why I'm a little bit crazy. Now, he asked me, where did you stay in Canada? And I go, I stayed at Christina's house. I literally answered it like a child because it's my brain was melting at that moment. So then he asked me, what did you do in Toronto? I told him, oh, I was dancing, I was having a good time. And he, he's checking my record. He goes, oh yeah, I see that you go to this thing every year, right? And, he's asking me, where did you go to school? And I told him the undergrad, I told him the grad school, I told him high school. And then he asked me, are you carrying anything back? And I'm like, yeah, honey. He goes, honey? I go, yeah, honey from the market, right? Then he looks in like this and he goes, anything that you ingested, are you bringing that back to the United States? And I said, no. So he does like a hand sign to the guy who's at the scanner, right? And then I turn and I go to the scanner. I'm walking with my bags. It feels like I'm walking on clouds. And I know he wasn't doing this, right? But the guy at the scanner, to me, what it looked like, he was like, come here, right? I'm not worried because I know that there's nothing in my bag. So he scans it once. Then he asked me to put it back again. So I put it back again. He scans it again. So then he asked me to put it back again. So he scans it a third time. And he goes, are you bringing back anything? And I go, yeah, clothes and prophylactics. So then he goes ahead and he asks me, hey, can I see inside your bag? Can you open it up? I go, sure. So I open it up. And I mean, my clothes was extremely wet. I mean, this is day after day after day of partying. I don't know why I didn't dry my clothes, right? But everything was like still wet with sweat. I'm a heavy sweater. For those of you that watch the channel, you know that. And he's like, ooh, why is it all wet? And I go, I was dancing, right? And I do like a little salsa right there. And he's like, yeah, bro, get out of here, right? So then I go ahead, I close up my bag, and then it's like I'm walking on clouds back to the bus. I put it actually underneath. I put my bag underneath, end up falling asleep. I wake up in Buffalo. In Buffalo, they kick you all off the bus. They do something, I don't know if they're changing the bus or changing the driver, they do something. So generally at that time, you'd have like a 35 to 40 minute wait in Buffalo. In Buffalo, I'm there sitting, feeling nice. And a guy comes over to me and he asks a question. And I'm just like, yeah. That's what it felt like from my angle, right? And I see him kind of start chuckling, looking at me, clearly because I was out of it, right? And he understood my predicament. So then we end up getting back on the bus. I'm an individual that has trouble sleeping on bus rides. I'll sleep for an hour and I'll not sleep for an hour. Sleep for an hour and then I'm awake. That's my schedule. So the way how this bus ride went for me was, we're in Buffalo. We take the drive. I'm sleeping, completely knocked out. Syracuse, there was maybe 2 places to eat. I definitely remember that Subway that was there at that bus station. I went ahead, I got a full foot long because I was starving, right? Wicked munchies hitting. I tear up that Subway sandwich, roll up the paper, knock out. The next stop that I remember, the next time that I regained consciousness, was at Port Authority. Okay, so for me, all those hours just kind of turned into literally a couple minutes, not even. So my boy actually had a similar trip in terms of him on the way back. It, just happening in a matter of seconds. Now, the way how we had this scheduled, we left on the Sunday and we ended up coming right back into work on Monday morning. End up getting to the bus station at maybe like 7:30, 8 o'clock, just turning around, going right to work. I remember work being a blur, but the thing that stands out about it was during lunchtime, I went to this little courtyard that we always sit in. It's a little courtyard. And I just sat there. I sat there literally for an hour and a half. Okay, I'm surprised nobody came and got me, but I was just sitting there in space. Okay, I texted my boy. He was experiencing the same, just like comatose-ness, if you will. And that was the way how that situation ended up going. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Catch you in the next one. Okay, say hello to Nia.
Hi.
Peace out. Deuces.
Creeping through my mind all night and day. I watch you like you're on my